In the United States of America, if you want to win an election, all you need to have is a strange voice. Simple as that. You want to be president of the United States? Get a strange voice, you're done. Yeah, forget policies, forget ideas, that's boring. You come out there, here are my ideas, boo! Normal sounding ass bitch. No. You come out there with a strange voice, the people love it. You realize there's been no American president who has a normal speaking voice, none. Now, you can go back as far as you want. None of them spoke normal, none. Now, go back as far, like JFK. JFK, he didn't speak normal. He had that thing, it was like, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. That's not normal. I don't care what anybody says, that's not normal. You telling me that man was standing in a McDonald's ordering food with that voice? Because they're like, could I please get a #1 medium with fries? And I'll also have a McFlurry, please. What do you mean the ice cream machine is broken? That's not normal. No American presidents speak normal, none. Bill Clinton, he didn't speak normal. He always did that thing where it sounded like he was trying to seduce the audience. You know? They'd be like, I do not have sexual relations with that woman. What are you doing? No American president spoke normal, none of them. George Bush, he didn't speak normal. He always did that weird chuckly thing. He'd be like, we're gonna find the people that did this, and then we're gonna bomb a totally different country. Fool me once. That's not normal. No American president spoke normal, none. Barack Obama, he didn't speak normal. He always did that thing where it sounded like his voice was buffering. As Americans, we gotta try to get a faster internet. That's not normal. Joe Biden, he doesn't speak normal. Are you kidding me? He just like fades into mumbles every time he gives a speech. It's not normal. He'll be up there and be like, that's why the most important thing to understand is no dreams are defined. We're the finest Negroes. Come on, man. Come on. Hey, I mean it. Come on. That's not normal. Trump, that was the weirdest of all. Every other American president is predictable. You know, you understood the ebb and flow. Trump, you never knew what to expect. Right? The volume on his voice all over the place, inflection where it didn't make sense. Do you know how hard it was to figure out where to put the volume on your TV when watching a speech? I had to sit there and write it like a shitty DJ the whole time as you speak, because you wouldn't know where it would happen. He'd be up there. I think as Americans, we try and try, so try, big trying, all trying, energy, surgery. But I know, and I think, if we can, what we won't, but we will, but maybe, but. What? It's not normal. That's why I laugh whenever I come to Canada and watch your news. Every time I come to Canada, I turn on the news, and they'll be like, there's a Canadian scandal happening. Justin Trudeau in another scandal. He has the most adorable scandals. You kidding me? Compared to American presidents, what? And they're like, he's scandalous. Has he been convicted of anything? Then shut the hell up. And be like, he's scandalous. He's got the terrible, he slept at a rich man's house. Oh, it's adorable. My favorite scandal of Justin Trudeau's by far is the one where he went on a trip to India and then became Indian. That has to be one of the greatest scandals of all time. I remember when it broke. He took off. He was wearing a suit. He left Canada, waving on the plane. Goodbye, goodbye everybody, goodbye. Got on, flew to India, landed, doors opened, and he came out, and he was already half Indian. He had the jacket on. But what was crazy was that as the trip progressed, he became more and more Indian each day. Clearly, no one was telling him what was happening on the news in Canada because Canadians were losing it. They're like, this is disrespectful. How can you do this, eh? And he was out there and he was just becoming more and more Indian. It started with the top and then he went down to the pants. He had the full outfit and then he had the headdress. My favorite was when he walked into a meeting with Indian dignitaries and they were all wearing suits. This man walked into that meeting looking like he was about to audition for Bakban. You're like, what the hell is this? He was getting so Indian that I was hoping a moment would come where he'd be like in the middle of a speech, and I was just hoping suddenly he'd be like, can I just say how proud I am of the work we've done together as Canadians and as Indians? I was hoping that would happen. I was waiting for it. The biggest scandal of all time. He became Indian. I don't think it was that bad. I just think he tries too hard, to be honest. You know, I think Justin Trudeau tries too hard to show he's compassionate, tries too hard, you know? I don't think it's that bad. And look, I'm biased. I know I'm biased. I am. Because I too have Trudeau'd. I'll confess it here tonight. I too have Trudeau'd, Canada. I too have tried too hard to connect with a group of people and it did not go well. My story happened in Edinburgh, Scotland. Beautiful place. If you've never been, go. Stunning. Everything. The place is full of history. The people are lovely and warm. The place isn't, but the people are. Everything is old. They love telling you that. Everywhere you'll go in Edinburgh, people will be like, oh, how old do you think that bridge is? You'll be like, I don't know, they're like 300 years old. You'll be like, oh, okay. They'll be like, that church, 500 years old. Meet my son, 800 years old. He looks 6, Scottish workmanship. But they were wonderful people. It was really great out there. And we were there for a comedy festival, okay? And what I do whenever I'm traveling is, if I get to be in the same place as my friends, we try and spend as much time together. And what we'll do is we'll order like food or we'll go out. And when we do that, we allow one person to designate the meal. Nobody negotiates, everybody gets to pick a day. And so whenever my day comes around, consistently, I pick Indian food, all right? Yeah, I think it's the best cuisine in the world. Nothing comes close. You don't agree with me? Let's meet in the parking lot, we can fight. I love Indian food. I've loved it my whole life. And so we're in Edinburgh, I'm with my friends, they're like, where are we going? Trevor, what do you say? I'm like, Indian food. They're like, every time? I was like, yes, every time Indian food. I'm like, oh, it's the same. I'm like, then why do you keep asking me? If you know, you know. Stop asking me. And I searched for where we were gonna go, because I always try and find the most authentic Indian restaurant I can find. Like authentic Indian restaurants. Do you know what I mean? So what I'll do is I'll go to a place, and then I'll ask around. I'll ask people. I'll be like, where do you go? And then like, where the white people tell me, I don't go there. So I found this authentic spots, and I was so happy. Now, the reason it had to be so authentic, just so you understand a little bit of me. I grew up in South Africa, as you know, right? Now, what a lot of people may not know is that South Africa has one of the largest Indian populations outside of India. Right? One of the largest Indian populations outside of India. I know Canada's #1 now. But when I was growing up, we had the single largest population of Indians outside of India. Yeah. So if India blew up, we were India. It was that close. And so I was lucky enough to grow up surrounded by Indian culture. Right? In fact, one of my best friends growing up was a little Indian boy by the name of Thissen Pillay. And we were thick as thieves. I don't think you understand. Every single day we hung out together. We spent our recesses together. We were hanging out, eating everything together, everything. Because we had so many things in common, right? We met at the beginning of the school year and we had so many things in common. Like he liked running, I liked running. So, Thiessen and I would spend every day together. And our ritual was simple. We'd go to all the classes that we did, and then we'd meet at what we called break time. And at break time, we'd sit and we'd eat our lunch together. Now, our lunches were very different, all right? Because Thiessen would get a packed lunch from his mom every single day. I would get money from my mom to buy food from the school tuck shop, we called it, right? Cafeteria, all right? And so what we do is I'd go and I'd buy the food every single day. And it's like, because my mom couldn't cook, right? Well, she tried once, and I was like, don't do this ever again. This is child abuse. Just give me the money. So I would buy the food every day. Thiessen, on the other hand, had food that his mom made every single day. And every single day, the meal was curry. I know this because every day, we'd sit down together. Thiessen would open his little lunchbox. He would take out his little can of juice. He'd unwrap his sandwich. And there would be little triangles cut out. And then he'd pull it out. He'd open the bread, look inside, and then he'd scream at the top of his lungs. He'd be like, "Curry! Damn it, mommy!" Every day. Every day. We'd sit down, I'd have my food, he'd have his, he'd take the juice out of the box, he'd unwrap the sandwich, he'd look in between, he'd be like, "Curry! Damn it, mommy!" Every single day, without fail, every day, mutton curry, lamb curry, potato curry, every curry you can imagine, but it was curry every single day. Curry! It was my favorite part of the day. Some days, I wouldn't even open my lunch for fear of missing the moment. I would just sit there next to him waiting, and he'd open it up, and he'd be like, "Curry!" And I'd mouth it next to him, "Damn it, mommy!" Every day, for months and months and months and months this happened. And then finally, at the risk of breaking it all, I turned to Thiessen one day. He screams like, "Curry! Damn it, mommy!" And I was like, "Thiessen, you know it's going to be curry every day." He said, "What?" I said, "It's going to be curry every single day. Every day you open the bread, and then every day you're shocked and you're like, 'Curry! Damn it, mommy!' But it's always going to be curry." And he said, "I know, Trevor, I know. I'm not shocked, I'm just disappointed." Right, because every single day, right, I come to school and then every day I'm like, I'm gonna eat lunch, and then every day I open a box and I know what it's gonna be, because last night we had the curry. Then what my mom does is she takes last night's curry, then she put it in a sandwich for me, and then that's the curry that I'm gonna have today. Then I know when I go home tonight, I'm gonna eat the curry, then I know that's the curry that's coming the next day. So every single day I'm getting curry, it's curry, and then it's gonna be more curry and more curry. Trevor, I know I'm Indian, but it's too much, man. I just want something different, you know? They say variety is the spice of life, not just curry. I was like, "Oh, but Thiessen, is it bad?" He said, "I don't even know anymore. I lost perspectives. Here, you can have it." And he gave me his curry sandwich. I bit it. And Toronto, there are moments in your life that will forever shape who you are. Moments that will define who you grow on to be. This was one of those moments for me. I put that sandwich in my mouth. I bit down and my mouth came alive. My tongue discovered its purpose. I didn't know potatoes could pop like that. The flavors were bouncing around. My eyes opened wide. It was, I was like, what? I was like, "Curry! Thank you, mommy." And I said, "Thiessen, this is amazing. You eat this every day?" And he's like, "Every damn day." And I was like, "Well, okay, let's swap. I'll give you my money for tuck shop, and then you give me your curry food every day. And we did that. We traded. And let me tell you something now. You thought we were best friends before. We turned into soulmates. Yeah, because we both got everything we dreamed of, right? I got to have a home-cooked meal every single day, and as an Indian person, he got to start a business. Thiessen was in heaven. It was perfect. And since then, I've loved curry. So, fast forward many decades, we're in Edinburgh, Scotland. Going out with my friends. We're choosing a spot. I choose Indian, authentic Indian. We get to the place, and it's legit. Like, it is legit. We walk in, and there's Indian music playing. There are Indian people eating, Indian cooks in the back, Indian waiters, Indian guards on the wall. I'm like, this is it. I'm home. We walked in, we sat down. And as soon as we sat, one of my friends, Steve, launches for the menu. And I was like, Steve, it's cool, man. I'll just order for everyone at the table. And he's like, oh, that's fine, Trevor. I'll order for myself, thank you. I was like, no, it's not about that, Steve. I just prefer to order for all of us, yeah? Right? You good? He's like, I don't know why that's necessary. I think I'll just order for myself. Is that okay? I was like, it's not. No, it's not okay, Steve. It's not okay, right? Because you're probably going to say some shit that's going to embarrass me in front of my Indian people, right? And so I just need you to back off for a moment. He's like, I'm sorry, what would I say that could embarrass you in front of Indian people? I was like, I don't know, Steve, and I don't want it to happen. Just let me handle this, okay? He's like, let you handle this? Trevor, I'll have you know that I've eaten curry for many, many years. I'm like, Steve, this is not the time. Just let's not argue, okay? Let's not argue. It's not the time to argue. He's like, what do you mean? Why would I embarrass you? Why? I was like, there's no why. You don't need to know why. Let's just not do. He's like, no, why? Why? Because I'm white. I was like, you brought it up, not me, all right? I wasn't going to bring up race, but you did, Steve. And now that you brought it up, let's talk about it. Every time I take my white friends to an ethnic restaurant, they always say some shit that embarrasses me. Every single time. Every time. Either they don't know how to pronounce the food, or they'll say some random shit. They'll be like, can I get that one, the papadums? What do you call these ones? You know, they'll be like, can I get this one, but not spicy? Kill yourself! Can I get the curry, but not spicy? Kill yourself! How are you gonna ask for curry, but not spicy? That's the whole point of curry. You want curry without the spice. Would you go to a sushi restaurant and ask for them to have the fish slightly boiled? No, I don't want the spice. Your forefathers went around the world killing people for the spice. Now you don't want it? Shut up and eat the spice, Steve. And he's there, he's like, Trevor, okay, I really don't understand where this is coming from, all right? I'm not gonna embarrass you. I understand curry. I was like, Steve, let's just leave it at that. I got you, okay? I got you, all right? I understand this way more than you. He's like, Trevor, I'm sorry. You're not more Indian than me. I was like, I'm sorry, what? He's like, yeah, you are not more Indian than me. I was like, what the hell is that? Exactly. Don't tell me I'm not more Indian than you. You shut up. When the waiter comes in, you shut up. He's like, I'm not gonna shut. I was like, you shut up. He's like, okay, fine, order then. And the waiter walks over. This beautiful Indian man. He's got his beautiful Indian garb, and he steps up. And I know Steve, I can see him questioning my authority out of the corner of my eye. And that's when I Trudeau'd. I was just a little too hyped. I wanted to show him that these were my people, and as the waiter got there, I didn't even let him speak. I just jumped up and I was like, good evening. I'm going to be ordering for the entire table, please. Could we please have 3 garlic raw naans? We're going to have 3 rumali rotis. Give us 1 shahi paneer, 1 palak paneer. You know what? We're going to have a Rogan Josh lamb, of course. Could we also please have 1 butter chicken for my Caucasian friends? And then we're going to have 3 samosas and 3 mango lassis to wash it all down. Thank you very much. I crushed it. I could feel it. Everyone could feel it. They could feel something. Because the table went dead. The waiter just stared at me. At first I thought he was impressed. Then I realized he was confused. And this Indian man leans in looks me dead in the eye, and he's like, "Sorry, sir, could you repeat what you said?" I kind of hear what you were saying, right? You got a bit of an accent. And I was like, oh shit! He's Scottish! I mean, I know he's Scottish. I mean, we're in Scotland. He's Scottish, but it's like he's Indian. I didn't expect that, right? Because the whole place is Indian. It's an Indian restaurant. The people eating were Indian. There's Indian gods on the wall. The guy was Indian. His beard was Indian, but his mouth was Shrek. I didn't expect that. And now he didn't understand me because I Trudeau'd too much. I didn't need to try so hard. But then I realized I also couldn't stop. Because that would be racist. So now, I've got the Scottish Indian man looking at me. Everyone's quiet, and he's like, if you don't mind, laddie, could you order again a little slower this time, right? I didn't hear what you said. You want me to place the entire order again? If you don't mind, I'm ready whenever you are. You know, I think everybody can order for themselves at the table. I don't think it's necessary for me to hold their hands. Everybody can order individually, and we can go from there, okay? We can go from there. And Steve was like, oh, I wish I could, but I'm so afraid I might offend someone. I think my friend here should order for us. Please, Trevor, go ahead. Go ahead. You're far more cultured than I am. I said, no, Steve, please, you can try your hand. I'm sure you know exactly what you want. He's like, no, but what if I say something embarrassing? The last thing I'd want to do is offend another person's culture, Trevor. I said, no, you can't offend anybody. There are no mistakes here, okay? We are all friends, okay? If anybody make a mistake, we forget about it. In fact, whatever happens today, we're all going to forget about it, okay? Just order. He's like, no, I wish I could. I really wish I could. But Trevor, please go. I said, no, you just order, Steve. He's like, oh, please, Trevor. I was like, order, bastard! Just order! The waiter was like, hey, there's no need to fight amongst yourselves. Look, clearly your friend's a little uncomfortable. Right, just order for him. Like, yes, he's totally uncomfortable. Okay, could we please have 3 Romali rotis and 3 garlic naan, 1 shahi paneer, 1 palak paneer, and could we also get a lamb rogan josh, and we're also going to be having 1 butter chicken for your Caucasian friends. For anybody. Anybody can enjoy different types of curry. They don't all have to be spicy. It doesn't matter as long as you participate. There is no wrong way. Oh, you're so understanding, Trevor. Yes, I am. Could we also please get zzz, 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 zzz. What, you gonna answer that? Zzz, zzz. No, they can call me back later. Zzz, zzz, zzz. He's like, it's getting awkward. Just answer your phone. I'll wait. Zzz. Okay. Zzz, zzz. Hello? Yes, this is Trevor speaking. How can I help you? Yes, no, the one and the same. Can you get to the point? I can't talk right now. Can you tell me what you need? I can't speak for too long. Can you? No. There is nothing wrong with my voice. Can you just get... No, everything is fine. No, I have not been kidnapped. No. I have not been kidnapped. Everything is fine. This is not a secret message. Just can you tell me what you need? No, we can talk later then. My voice is like this sometimes. Don't worry about that. Just wait. No, and I think I know my voice. I think I know my voice also. Yeah, well, I've been me my whole life, okay? I've been me my... Okay, fine, we'll talk later. Okay. Love you too, mommy. Bye-bye. It's the most awkward meal I've ever had in my life. I barely ate a thing. I sat there thinking about my life. We finally get up to leave. Steve is beaming from ear to ear. They walk out ahead of me, and as I'm leaving the restaurant, the waiter waves us off. He's like, good night, everybody. He's like, have a great night. And we wave at him, and he's like, hey, excuse me, before you go, hey, aren't you Trevor Noah? A comedian, right? I was like, yeah, why? He's like, oh no, because I totally got you, Trevor. I totally got you, Trevor. I was like, wait, what? Wait, you Indian? He's like, of course I'm Indian. Of course I'm Indian. All places Indian. I totally got you, huh? I said, well, I don't understand. He's like, you don't understand. I understand. You walked in. I said, look, Trevor, no one coming. Then you start talking with accent. I go, I also do accent. Then you were doing accent. Then I do accent. Then you were doing accent. You make joke. I make joke. Do you like joke? I was like, no, I don't like your joke. I don't like your joke. I thought I was about to get canceled. Do you see this shit? He's like, it was amazing. You were sweating so hard. Not from the curry, eh? That was so funny, Trevor. I was like, it was not funny. My friends were laughing at me. He's like, I know. He's like, I wasn't scared, man. Why would you do that? He's like, because, Trevor, I take great joy in the pain and suffering of others. It's called Schadenfreude. Yo, Toronto, you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for coming out. Scotland taught me so many things. Beautiful place, beautiful people, rich in culture. My favorite thing to do while I was there was just try and learn the Scottish accent. I butcher it, but I don't care. I have fun. What I do when I travel is I try to speak to people in their accent and see if they can catch me out. It's one of my favorite games. Like I'd walk into a store in Edinburgh and I'd just be like, good afternoon. I would like to buy a pair of shoes. You'd be like, where are you from? I'm from Scotland. Aye, what part? Johannesburg. I love it though. I love accents not just because they sound fun and it's an interesting thing to do. I love accents because I'm always impressed by how much power they have over us, over our minds. You know, when someone speaks a certain way, it changes how we feel about that person. You know, for good and for bad. We do it all the time. You know, you see some people in the streets, they speak to you, you think of them a different way. You see world leaders, they speak a certain way, you think of them a different way. You know, Barack Obama, one of the greatest examples of that. Everything about Barack Obama was by far the coolest president that has ever existed. Just everything about the man, you know? That confidence, the smile, the swag. Like, you know, when you notice Barack, like, I would notice it in the small things. Like when he'd step out of Air Force One. He did it like no other president in the world. Normally presidents step out of their airplane in like a frumpy manner. Like, you know, there's no class or skill, just like come out. But Barack, he wouldn't step out, he'd emerge. He'd emerge like he was stepping out of the plane and into a music video. You know, he'd just do that thing where he'd come out. And then he'd go down the stairs, doing it the only way he could, you know. The way he descended, it almost looked like every time he hit the ground, he was just gonna go into verse 1, you know? Just straight in, just like, girl, I wanna take you there, give you my Obamacare. Oh, man. Barack Obama's just too cool. You know, he had the walk, he had the talk, and that was the big thing a lot of people never realized about Barack Obama, is the talk. That's what really gave him the edge. He has a certain way of speaking, a certain voice that commands your attention, makes you feel about him a certain way. It's the accent, the way he speaks. And I don't know how many people realize this, but Nelson Mandela had the same thing. Yeah. See, the thing Barack Obama has in his voice, that is the voice of a first black president. Now, a lot of people didn't notice that because he was the first and last first black president of the United States. So you wouldn't know to compare. I'm lucky in that I've gotten to be, I've gotten to live in the country of two first black presidents, namely Nelson Mandela and Barack Obama. So I know what I'm talking about. They both had that thing. It's just difficult to hear because Nelson Mandela is obviously South African and he was older, but they both had that thing in the voice. When Nelson Mandela would speak, a room would silence. You could feel the energy.
I believe that every person, regardless of the color of their skin, should have equal rights, and they may never be taken again. To those who would seek to oppress, I say to you, never and never again.
And the people would lose their minds, and people would feel the chills because he had that thing. Like Nelson Mandela was destined for greatness because of that voice. He could not be a normal man with a voice like that. You can't do normal things with that voice. You are destined for greatness. You can't just be running around in the streets,
and a Kit Kat, please.
No. It's so unique. You can't be silly. What are you making, prank phone calls? Who the hell is this?
I'm not telling you.
It just doesn't work. I remember when Nelson Mandela was still alive and he would tell jokes at press conferences and events and no one would laugh. Because everyone thought a man who had been in jail for 27 years couldn't make a joke. And yet he still did. He still kept what was him. But it was partly because of that voice. He would tell the joke and it would just sound too epic for people to laugh. Everything he did, it'd just be like,
knock, knock.
He'd be like, let him in, let him in.
No. You must say, who's there?
He is so right. We've always got to ask, who's there? Who's here? Who are we? Oh my God. It was because of that voice. The first black president voice. And I'll never forget the day I saw a picture of Barack Obama meeting Nelson Mandela for the very first time. It's a beautiful image, and it's of the two men in silhouettes. In Chicago, Nelson Mandela sitting in a chair, Barack Obama leaning over him. And this was way back in the day. This was before Barack Obama was a blip on the presidential radar. He was a junior senator. Not many people knew his name. Back then, he was driving around in his own car, no motorcade, had his aide with him. And that day, they heard Nelson Mandela was going to be in Chicago meeting people. Barack Obama wanted to meet him his whole life. And so he rushed over there. And he was the last person Nelson Mandela saw, the last person he saw that day. And I always imagine Nelson Mandela was sitting in the room, and his assistant came over. She was like,
Mr. Mandela, I know we said we are done, but unfortunately there's just one person who would like to meet you, sir.
I was like, Zelda, I'm so tired. Can we leave?
No, I know you want to leave, Mr. Mandela, but there's a young man that you really need to meet. His name is Barack Hussein Obama.
Barack Hussein Obama. He's American.
Yes, that's correct.
He is going to have a tough time. Where is he?
He's right outside the door.
Okay, show him in. Show Barack in.
Okay, I'll be right back.
and she went over to the door.
She's like, Mr. Obama, Mr. Mandela will see you now.
And Barack walked in. He was super excited to meet his idol. Nelson Mandela was sitting on the chair. He looked over.
Young Barack, how are you? And Barack was like, oh man, Nelson Mandela, man, this is the craziest day of my life, man. I can't believe this shit right now. I can't believe I'm meeting Nelson Mandela for the first time, man. Oh man, I waited my whole life for this moment. I'm like, I won't be just like you, man. I read your books, man. I saw what you were doing in prison. I was like, I'm gonna be the first black president of America. I'm gonna do the same things you did, man. I'm gonna win those votes, and I'm gonna be the first black president of America. And Nelson Mandela was like, not with that voice. You will scare the white people. Oh man, Nelson Mandela, this is the greatest day of my life, man. Oh, I don't even understand how you know, man, I just want to know from you, how do I do it? How do I do what you did? How do I become the first black president? Well, first things first, we need to change that voice. You don't sound like you are going to lead anything. I don't know what you mean, man. I don't know what you mean. You are speaking so fast. Slow it down. You are not being chased anymore. I never thought of it like that, man. I never thought, slow down, slow down. Okay, I guess I do speak fast sometimes. I could slower than that. I could slow it down. I could slow it way down. Is this good? That's better. Now, you need to make sure you add some bass to your voice. I don't know why that's an issue. Imagine if I spoke like this. Do you think people would have voted for me? No, I would still be in jail. Bring some bass. Okay, I could try to I could try to bring some bass. Is that lower than that? I could go lower than that. Is that good? Lower than that. Lower, way down. I could keep it here. I can keep it here. That's better. Now, very important. To be a first black president, your pacing must be powerful. Every word must seem like the last you will ever speak.
Wow, that's powerful, Mr. Mandela. Let me try to speak like that. Does that work?
That's good. Very good.
I can feel it.
Yes, now for the magic touch. To be first black president, you need to have the husk. No more husky. That's it, you are getting it now. That's it. I think you've got it. Now repeat after me. America.
America.
No, the husk. Bring the husk back. America.
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 America. America. Yes, I can feel it. Say, this is my country.
This is my country.
Yes, this is my dream.
This is my dream.
Yes, I can feel it. You are going to be the first black president.
I don't know. Do you think we can do it?
Yes, we can.
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 You've got it right. Now go get them, my nigga.
To appreciate it since I moved to the US is what a civil relationship we have with our police. We can fight with our police when they stop us with not one thought in your head of losing your life. That's a luxury in America. I didn't even think about that. I just moved to the US to start working on The Daily Show, and one day I was driving and I got pulled over by a policeman, right? And I get pulled over by this policeman, and being pulled over by the police in America is a stressful experience because they make it a game show where you've got to try and figure out what's going on. In South Africa, it's simple, straight to the point. You get pulled over, the Metro Police comes there, he tells you, my friend, you were speeding. License, letter, license, plus no seatbelt, license. Then immediately you're in the game. Oh, come on, man, come on. Hey, don't come on, nothing here. Seatbelt, when, letter license. Busy driving here, shoemaker, yeah? Yeah. Now you're in the game. You know, it's time to talk. It's time to work things out. In America, they don't play that game. Policeman walked up to my window. I was sitting in the car. Got up there. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Sir, do you know why I pulled you over? Shouldn't you know why? Why are you asking me? No, I don't know. Sorry, what did you say? I said, I don't know why you pulled me over. I pulled you over, sir, because you were speeding. Oh, okay, I didn't know. Do you know how fast you were going, sir? Did you not check your notes before you came? I feel like this is part of now I'm doing your job and my job at the same time. Sir, are you giving me attitude? No, I'm not giving you attitude. I'm just saying you can't ask me why you stopped me and then ask me how fast I was going. Next thing you're gonna ask me to write my own tickets. Sir, are you giving me attitude? You're gonna get out of this car right now, sir. Are you giving me attitude? And I was just talking to the guy because I was like, look, man, you can't say. Here's the craziest thing the cop said to me. He looked at me and he's like, sir, I'll tell you something. You were going 100 miles an hour. And I was like, 100 miles an hour? I was like, how did you know that? Where's your, can I see the thing? He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, show me your gun. And he's like, I got, no, whoa, not that one, whoa. I want to see the laser gun. Show me the speed. He's like, I don't need that, sir. I estimated that you were going 100 miles. I was like, estimated? What does 100 look like? Can't just estimate 100. So he's just gonna look, he's like, I can do that, okay? I can look and estimate. I'm like, dude, that's a dangerous thing to do. So you just look and then you go, that guy's going 100. You can't just estimate. Imagine if I just did that with you, where I'm like, estimate, standard 7, pelele. Yeah? You can't just do that. I'm sorry, sir, what did you just say to me? I didn't say any, I'm just saying that it's not fair for you to, like, it's a weird experience with police over there. And my friend was in the passenger seat. He was shitting himself the whole time. He was just like, yo, dude, shut up. Yo, dude, shut up. Shut up, Trevor. Shut up, Trevor. You're going to get us killed. Shut up, Trevor. I was like, what do you mean get us killed for what? Why are we getting killed now? He's like, shut up, Trevor. Shut up, Trevor. I take that for granted because in America, you could get shot. You know, and you read stories and you see stories of black Americans getting shot, and that is true. They get shot at a disproportional rate. But white Americans also get shot by the police all the time. White police in America, police in general in America, are trigger happy. They don't play games. It's all racism. It's just police as a whole. Shoot first, ask questions later. There they are. You! Freeze! Did I get that order right? We take for granted the relationship we have here. In America, you read stories of people getting shot because they pulled out their wallets. In South Africa, you'll get shot because you didn't pull out your wallets. We're always talking. That's my favorite thing about South African police, is that you feel like you're part of what's happening. Pull over, the cop comes there. How are you, sir? I'm fine, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine, yeah? I don't know if you saw here. Let me just show you. Can you see here? Check the numbers. Check the numbers. See that one there? Top score. Yeah? See there? Top score, yeah? See that number there, yeah? Yeah. What does that number say? Then you're like, it says 160. Yeah? If it was Pac-Man, you have an extra life now, eh? Yeah? 160. So, what are we doing now? Malume. Yeah, what are we doing now? Malume. Hey, yeah, I know, my man, I know. They feel your pain. We're in this together. I almost feel like we need to send South African police. We need to send South African police to America, just so that Americans can learn what it's like to have a functional police force that's not always threatening to end your life. You know? A police force where you can communicate, where you can air your differences without fear of mortal retribution. Wouldn't that be great to have Americans in sticky situations? There they are at a standoff. The police pull up. Woo! Woo!
All right, we're gonna hand you over. We've got a Sergeant Matabula here. He's a specialist from South Africa. We're gonna hand you over. Hello. Hello, sir, how are you? Man, I ain't coming out. Yeah. I'm greeting you. I said, how are you? Don't just shout here, we are talking. How are you? I'm fine, man. Thank you very much for asking. How are you? I'm doing good, thank you very much. Okay, what's going on here, my brother? Look, man, that shit y'all trying to pin on me, it ain't true, man. I'm innocent. Okay, so just come out and we can talk. Nah, man, I know how this shit goes down. Y'all gonna kill me or I'm gonna spend the rest of my life in jail. That's not true. That's not true. Just come out, we can talk. I know what y'all gonna do, man. I got two options. I'm gonna die or I'm gonna spend my life in jail. There's another option. It involves a cold drink. Doesn't have to be this way.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can win cool prizes. And by prizes, I mean surprise. There's no prizes. It's a free YouTube video, you greedy. Just click the video, man. Why you want free things on free things?
But now we're here in Amsterdam. Yes. The best dam of them all. What a good time it's been. What a good time. I'm glad I came here early on this trip because I got a few days of the good weather. I've heard so many rumors about it. Every time I come here, people are like, you should have come. You should have come a few weeks ago. People in the Netherlands talk about their weather like a child who doesn't know where their dad is. No, he was here. He was here. But you didn't see him. He was here. Mommy said he's coming back. It's not just, you know what it is? It's not just the rain that gets me here. It's like a depressing season that sets over the entire place. You know, the entire thing. It's just like I'm used to rain, okay? I grew up in South Africa, in Johannesburg, right? We have a lot of rain, right? Yeah. I live in New York City now. We get a lot of rain. But you know what happens is the clouds come in, it rains, and then it leaves. Even if it rains for long, if you look into the distance, you can see parts of the sky in other cities that have no clouds. Here, it descends upon the entire Netherlands. Like an ancient wizard has cast a spell. You look as far as you can. Like 2 days ago, when it hit, like properly, it hit. I looked out of my window and I was like, this is not possible. There are no clouds. It is just cloud. It's gray. There's no shape. There's nothing. You can't see anything. It's just gray as far as your eye can see from one corner to the next. And then the worst thing is, it's not rain, but it's rain. Just enough rain that you get wet, not enough that you need an umbrella. You just walk around with an umbrella, you feel like an idiot. You close it up, it's drenched all over your face. Tiny little droplets. You can't do anything. You don't want to be outside, you know, but you don't want to stay inside. It's like depressing the whole time. The whole time. I was in this weather for 2 days. For 2 days, I was in this weather. I was sitting inside, I was looking at it, I was walking outside, I was feeling it. And in 2 days, I felt something deep inside me. I was like, Gah! Gah! And I was like, now I get it. Now I get why the Dutch colonized. I get it. I get it, man. Woo-wee! Ooh, don't even play games with me, Amsterdam. If I lived here for 6 months, after month 7, I would be like, ek moet 'n ander plek gaan. Ek wil nie the countries of other mense. That's probably what happened, right? Yeah, because it didn't happen the other way around. Right? It's not like anyone from Suriname was landing here. right? There's no African boats arriving here. Africans weren't building boats, they were having a good time. Eating mangoes, enjoying the sunshine. The Dutch were like, we can't stay in this weather for any longer. I'm sick of this. And they set sail. The Dutch. It really is interesting. You know, when we think about colonization really intrigues me as a concept, you know? Not just like how it happened, but how we treat it today, you know? I can feel some of the white people tensing up. Relax, it's a comedy show, relax. Relax, I saw your shoulders, ma'am. You were like, eh. You're like, he's coming for us now? No, relax. It's a comedy show. For 1 hour, I forgive you. It's all right, relax. No, like, okay, so here's what it is. Here's what it is for me, right? I travel to many places around the world. I do comedy shows. And I'll always announce that I'm going to a country to perform. What I find intriguing is certain countries get certain responses every single time. Every single time, right? And a lot of those countries will get a negative response, right? So recently, this was about a month ago, I was doing shows in Germany. And the same way I do every year, I announced. I said, I'm going to Berlin and Stuttgart, excited to be coming to Germany. And without fail, under my Instagram comments, under my Facebook comments, whatever social media I used, people were commenting underneath. Those Nazis. I hope you tell them that they're Nazis, Trevor. Don't forget to remind them what they did, Trevor. You tell them that they're Nazis, Trevor. I was like, which part of my comedy show do you think this is going to be happening in? Come on, good evening, Germany, you Nazis. But that's all I get in the comments. People will be like, yo, man, you know, they don't even laugh. They shouldn't laugh. They don't have a sense of humor, those Nazis. Don't ever forget what they did, Trevor. And I understand it. I do understand it. But what I find interesting is that I'll travel to other countries that also have a harrowing past. You know, and this is not a moment to compare like the numbers and no. I just travel to places where they have a harrowing past. And I've noticed I don't get any of the same backlash. Like when I said I was coming to the Netherlands, people were just like, oh, enjoy the canals, woo! Yes, oh, Trevor, yeah, enjoy riding the bicycles, woohoo! Bring me back some weed, wow! I was like, what is it? What is it? Like, how come some countries have this and some countries don't? And I was in Germany for about a week. And being there for a week, I got to sample how they live, you know, what they do, what they don't do. And after having a meal there one day, I think I figured it out. I think I figured out why some European nations have been able to shake off most of their colonial baggage, and some have kept more of it than others. You know, the history of what they did. And it all lies in the food. Yeah, my grandmother taught me this lesson when I was really young, and I didn't understand it. I was too young to get it. My grandmother used to love cooking for me and the entire family. She's the greatest cook ever. She'd cook for all of us on a Sunday by herself. Didn't want anyone else in the kitchen because she didn't want anyone taking credit for what she made. The only person who was allowed to be with her was me. And so me and my grandmother in the kitchen, and she loved me. I was her favorite grandchild because I could eat the most. And so she would give me the food while she's cooking. She's like, what do you think? And I was like, I'm not sure. And she'd give me again and be like, I'm not sure. And she'd be like, you're so naughty, Trevor. And then she'd make some more food, And then one day, out of the blue, my grandma was busy cooking everything, making everything. And she turned and she gave it to me. And I was like, that's so good, Granny. And she said, you know what, Trevor? Can I tell you a secret? If you know how to cook well, you can make someone forget anything bad you've done. That's why your grandfather is still around. I was like, what? I didn't understand it. How could I? I didn't have the right information. Until recently, when I traveled to Europe and I actually spent time in these different countries, spent time sampling the culture, the life, and the food. And then I got it. All the countries that have been able to sort of like distract people are the countries that spend time in the kitchen. Yeah. Like the French. They have one of the worst legacies of colonization ever. Yeah, but when you ask them, you can't stay mad at them. You'll be like, yo, French, what did you do in Congo? They're like, what did I do with this croissant? Oh, have you tasted it? Oh, succulent. You go to Italians, you're like, what did you do in East Africa? They're like, but what did I do with this pizza? Mamma mia. Look at this pasta, just a taste it. This is the true travesty. Oh my God. Even the Dutch, you got in on the game. People are like, what were you guys doing when the spice trade? And you guys like, what do you mean with the puffer cheese? You mean with our little puffer cheese? You want to have some puffer cheese? The Belgians were like, have a waffle. Forget about what we did in Africa. And then you get to Germany and they're like, would you like to try some sauerkraut? And you taste that shit and you're like, we will never forget. Never. People get offended sometimes when I say these things, but it's something you actually shouldn't be offended by. You shouldn't be offended by it, because I've learned in talking to like anthropologists and sociologists that a lot of the way people are in their cultures comes from the weather that they were raised in. This is a true thing. No, it's a true thing. So for instance, I've always been fascinated, like whenever I travel to Scandinavia, you know, like Sweden and Norway and all those places, I was always intrigued by the way they speak, right? Like they have a very like curt language. You know, like when you talk about, you say Spanish, you want to learn because it like sounds good, and like Swedish for me has always sounded the opposite. You know, it's just got that like tak, tak, hida, takjada, kukkur, kuttabuttator, kuttu, muris kuttaburik, kurin, 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 burtum, tur, kuriship, mutjado. It's like that thing. You know what I mean? And I was always like, why? And it turns out that Swedish people, over generations, we're talking about like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, because they lived in a climate that was so cold, you couldn't afford to open your mouth wide when you speak, right? Like I grew up in Xhosa culture. My mother's Xhosa, my grandmother's Xhosa, that's my whole family. Xhosa people grew up in South Africa, warm climate. So when we speak, we open our mouths. Molo, that's how we greet you. Molo mhlobam, usaphila, alright, hayi ndimbonile. You see? It's because we've got warm air. We can take our time. If you've been to Sweden in the winter, you understand what you can't wait. You can't mess around out there. You just gotta get them. You can't be messing around when the temperatures are dropping to below zero. You can't be coming outside. Imagine you in Xhosa in Sweden. You're gonna come out there like more, freeze the shit out of your throat. So I'm not saying you're not kind. I'm just saying you're not warm. You know, the Dutch are very, in the time I've been here, like very efficient. You know, very logical people. If it doesn't make sense to you, it just doesn't make sense. You know, I asked someone yesterday, I said, hey, why does it seem like there's less transport? And then he was like, because there's a strike. That's what he said. He had like a weird, it was like Dutch, but it wasn't Dutch accent. He was like, yeah, because there's a strike. I was like, okay, well, when are they coming back? He's like, when they come back? I was like, all right, I guess you don't know. Dutch are just very like, you know when you can see it? You can see it when you go around Amsterdam and you watch Dutch people riding bicycles. I've never been to a country where people do such a fun activity in such a serious way. Everywhere else in the world, people on a bicycle look like they are living the personification of happiness. Because that's what a bicycle is. It's goofy, it's silly. Your legs are going round and round. You're there with the little bell, bring, bring. That's like a fun time, yay! And then here in the Netherlands, straight back, straight body, focus. Focus, 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 focus. We're going somewhere, focus, focus, focus. And God forbid you step in front of that bike, God forbid. Let me tell you something, I have never in my life been to a country where I would rather step in front of a car than a bicycle. I have never in my life Every day that I've been out here, I've forgotten. I'll step into the bicycle lane, you see them flying at you, and for safety, I'll jump to the cars because I know I've got a better chance of surviving. Your bike riders here do not give a shit. They do not give a shit. They come at you. It's almost like they go faster when they see you. You step into that lane, people lose their shit, come at you full speed. Full speed. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey, hey. Kijk maar dit ook, kijk maar mee, kijk. Samen, kijk wat ramen, samen, kijk. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey, hey. I've never heard a bell sound angry until I came to the Netherlands. Angry as shit. Gring, 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 gring. Gring, gring. Je maakt het erbij. Gring, gring. Yeah, 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 yeah. One guy screamed at me, he's like, hey, why don't you look? Why don't you look behind you? I'm like, because that's not how looking works. What do you think, I just live my life like I owe people money? Think I'm just walking around like this? Why don't you look behind you? Why don't you use your brakes? People in the Netherlands act like this is an action movie and there's a bomb on their bike and they can't stop or the shit will blow up. Just hit the brakes. There's a human being in front of you. They pedal faster. They pedal faster. They've got kids. It's like the kids are little torpedoes they're going to use on you. You've got your family in the front of this thing and you go faster. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm like, are you shitting me? The kid's there with his helmet ready to kill me. Almost aiming at me like, yeah, papa, yeah, papa. Yeah, papa, let's go, papa. Yeah, 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 yeah. Just hit the brakes. It's a bicycle. You can slow down. I want to do that. I'm actually going to go around. I'm going to go around Amsterdam and I'm going to mess with people. Because I've noticed the Dutch, you guys take Sundays pretty chill. I'm going to wait for a Sunday. I'm going to wait for a Sunday when you guys are enjoying yourselves, walking through the canals, having a nice time in Amstel Park. And then I'm going to come there. I'm just going to start walking really fast. Walking really fast. Walk straight through you and your family while you're sitting on those blankets. Just come straight there. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mexican people, I don't even know what it is. I think it's just people, we have a connection, you know, I don't know, South Africans and Mexicans or something. People from shithole countries, we have this thing. I still can't believe the things Donald Trump says. He's such a, for me, Donald Trump is an emotional paradox, I'm not gonna lie. You know, logically I can process him, emotionally I struggle. On the one hand, I will admit I wake up many days terrified at the notion that he's president of the most powerful nation in the world. But I also must admit I wake up many days knowing he's gonna make me laugh. Yeah, there's terror and there's joy and I don't know how to feel. You know what it feels like sometimes? It feels like there's a giant asteroid headed towards the Earth, but it's shaped like a penis. Like I think I'm gonna die, but I know I'm gonna laugh. Because you just look at everything that he does. The world we now live in because of him. Like you realize we're living through history. You know, this will never happen in our lifetimes again. We're living through a time when we're all learning about the presidency at the same time as the president. That's never happened. How wild is that concept? You wake up every day reading the news and you're like, wow, I didn't know that. And somewhere at that exact same moment, he's reading the same news going, wow, me too. And nobody knows where it's going to lead. Nobody knows what he's going to do. All we know is that he wants his wall. He wants his wall. Donald Trump wants his wall. He needs $25 billion the last time he asked. He needs it from American taxpayers because Mexico is smart. That fell apart real quick. I remember how confident he was at the rallies, people cheering for him. He was like, folks, we're going to build.
We're gonna build a wall, folks. Who's gonna pay? Mexico.
And Mexico was like, we ain't paying for shit, man. We might build it, but we're not gonna pay for it, man. And I don't know if you've been following the journey of the wall, but it's probably the best comedy on TV, right? Because now they've started building prototypes of the wall at the border, right? Because Donald Trump said he wants them to test the wall first. I don't know how you do that. You know, it's like, try again. And because this is the prototypes, Donald Trump now has specifications for the wall. He now says he wants the wall to be made out of concrete, but he also needs the wall to be see-through, right? And the reason the president wants the wall to be see-through is because he said he's afraid that drug dealers from Mexico are going to shoot bags of drugs over the wall and it's going to hit Americans on the head as they walk by. So he needs the wall to be see-through so that Americans can see the drugs coming and catch it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what a see-through wall is, but at this point, I'm just worried that a contractor's gonna come along and trick the president. He's gonna take him to the border and be like, there it is, Mr. Trump, your invisible wall. And then just to make sure he buys it, he's gonna hire a troop of Mexican mimes just to be like, oh my God, you can't get through it. It works. Like the mind of Donald Trump. Oh, the other idea he had for the wall was he said America should build the wall out of solar panels. That's what he said. He said America should build the wall out of solar panels because that way the wall would generate electricity and pay for itself. Yeah. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that's a good idea, right? It's a good idea. Unless you know anything about solar panels or the sun or walls. Because the problem with that idea is that the sun is up, yeah? We all agree on that? We're still on the same page there, yeah? The sun is up, right? A solar panel wall is not gonna work because a wall is like this. So technically it's facing down. So unless you have like a really swaggy sun that's like, yeah, I shine real low, B, it's not gonna work for you. The only way it works is if you take your border solar panel and lean it at an angle to get the sun's rays. But if you do that, now you've just created a giant ramp for Mexicans to shoot into America. It's like, órale! The mind of Donald J. Trump. The J stands for Jesus. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, a lot of self-loathing going on there. And he's always going after someone, right? He's always going after someone. If it's not Mexicans, it's Muslims. If it's not Muslims, it's Africans from shithole countries. And that one was my favorite personally, because I am an African and I've shat in a hole. I also liked it because like people came up to me and asked me questions. There was one man who came up to me after a show, really concerned. He was like, Trevor, hey, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah, go ahead, my friend. He said, hey, Trevor, I just wanted to know when Donald Trump says all these horribly racist things, do you sometimes just want to, pack it up, leave America, go back to South Africa and escape all this racism? I said, my friend, you don't go to South Africa to escape racism. That's where you go to stock up. Are you kidding me? That's the one thing that reminds me of home. Racism out here. Because we've got tons of racism in South Africa. And don't get me wrong, it's gotten a lot better. When I was growing up, we had apartheid. And, apartheid was basically the best racism in the world. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I mean, now you're going to feel bad and be like, oh, racism was the best. No, it wasn't. It was good, but not the best. And I experienced a bunch of racism, and everyone did. I never felt like it was a bad thing, mostly because of my family. My mother is a black woman, Xhosa woman. My father's Swiss from Switzerland. And them being a couple was against the law, and that was a problem for us living together. And so we experienced a ton of racism. And in case you're wondering, yes, Xhosa is one of the languages with the clicks in it, right? Xhosa, but not like in American movies, just so you know. Yeah, I've seen those movies where they have Africans and they're like, "Ngulu mangungu mangungu. Mangungu mangungu mangungu." That's not a language. Yeah. Even we watch those movies and we're like, I wonder what they are saying, yeah? Where are they from? I think they're from Cleveland.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can win cool prizes. And by prizes, I mean surprise. There's no prizes. It's a free YouTube video, you greedy. Just click the video, man. Why you want free things on free things?
This is so amazing. So many of you here to see me, huh? I feel like Meghan Markle. This is dope. That was like the most amazing experience. I didn't know that the royal wedding was going to be this weekend. I didn't know it was going to be today. I planned my show long before them. I knew that I loved you before he knew. That's what I'm saying. I planned our big day long before they planned theirs. And then now everyone was like, oh, you're going to London? Are you going for the royal wedding? Are you here for the royal wedding? Are you here for the royal wedding? It's quite an event, I have to say. Like everyone is watching everything about you. All the stories people would talk about, because you're watching it all over the world. They're like, yes, Meghan Markle. Yes, she isn't the typical royal. Yes, she isn't the typical royal. What we mean is, yes, typical royal. She comes from an unconventional family. Yes, very different family. And I was like, yeah, man, she does. She comes from an unconventional family. Just like Harry, same thing. Come on. It's true, same thing. And they look good together. It was beautiful. Everyone was stressed out about it. Meghan Markle's family was in the tabloids, the Daily Mail, trying to destroy their lives. Man, when the Daily Mail comes after you, they do not mess around. They will find that one uncle in your family who's an alcoholic and shits his pants. Meet Trevor's Uncle Bobby. I didn't even know I had an Uncle Bobby. Well, now you do, and he shits his pants. And they'll always find a way to try and link it to you like it's your fault. They'll be like, Meghan Markle's uncle's son, Donnie, didn't pay his bills. She doesn't even know him. Doesn't matter. It shows that her family is unconventional. I'm not gonna lie, I was glad that it was the white side of Meghan families that was, I'm not gonna lie. We could not handle that as black people. That is the last thing we needed. Can you imagine if that was the black side of the family? Really? If Meghan's dad was on TV and he was like, oh no, I'm not coming to their wedding, no. Here we see Meghan's father posing for photo. You caught me again. Oh no, you have caught me. Black people would have never, because that's the hard thing about being a minority, whether you're black, whether you're whether you're Arabic, whatever it is. Like if you're a minority, if you have a certain skin tone, you know that every action you commit, like taints your whole, your family, it taints your everything. White people are individuals. That's white people. That's like the best thing in the world. And that's what white privilege means to me. You're an individual. Let's look at Dave. He is excellent. He's a mass murderer. As Trevor, if I killed half of you tonight, they'd be like, those mixed breeds. I take everyone down with me. So much stress. So I was glad. Like her mom was there. She was all, fly, looking beautiful as well. The wedding went off without a hitch. And my favorite thing was how the British media talked about how black the event was. And I understand it. Here's the thing. This is like one of those things where I understand, like they want to talk about it because you're not used to having like a black wedding, right? But so like everyone today, I had like CNN contacted me and they're like, Trevor, would you mind speaking about the wedding and really all the black performers? There was a black cellist and there was a black choir and a black pastor. How do you feel? Black? I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. How do you respond to that question? How do you feel about, I don't know how I feel, it's a wedding. I don't know, what do you want me to say? That's a normal wedding. I wasn't watching that wedding being like, whoa, there's black. So much blackness, another one. It's a wedding, what do you want me to say? It's people. And also, like, I feel like people go too far. Like, you know, that's where you realize that there's not enough, like, diversity in your world, is if you think that that made it a black wedding. Let me tell you something. A black cellist has canceled itself out. If you have a black person playing the cello, it's safe to say that you've canceled out the blackness of that event. That's the safest way to introduce blackness into your family. Daddy, I'm dating a black man. What? He plays the cello. All right, bring him in, bring him in. Even white people think a cello is white. When you walk in with a cello, white people also like, well, what the hell is that, man? It's like, it's the black wedding. It wasn't a black, it was just a wedding. It was a beautiful, beautiful wedding. If it was a real black wedding, it wouldn't have ended. That's a real black wedding. It would never end. If it was a real black wedding, Prince's Nigerian uncle, he would have found like Harry's Nigerian uncle, he would have been in the carriage with them. I'm not paying for this carriage, I'm not riding in it, huh? You want to ride alone, Harry? You want to drive alone? Let me tell you something, huh? Let me tell you something. We are all getting in this carriage, eh? Every single one of us. And if we all get in the carriage, there's space for everybody. Don't be like that, Harry, huh? This is your family's day. This is not just your day, huh? When you were a little boy, who was there for you, huh? Who was there? That I was here, eh? I was there. Uncle Adebayo was there for you, Harry. Don't be like that, huh? Don't be like that. Huh? Where do you think you got your bow spot from, huh? Where do you think you got that from? That's a black wedding. This was just a wedding that included black people. That's all it was. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful to see all the celebrities showing up, all the famous people. They sang God Sing the... I never noticed that when they sing God Save the Queen doesn't sing. Which I understand. I mean, I feel like that would be a little bit weird. Like, she knows. Like, which is... Like, that's what I like about the Queen. I'm not gonna front. Like, she has a gangster vibe about her. Like, she's gotten to that point where she's like, yeah, I'm the Queen, I'm over it, let's keep it moving. She doesn't act like someone who's the Queen anymore. She's just like, I'm over it, I'm the Queen. And so everyone's standing like, God save our Jesus Christ, and she's like, yeah, I know, save me, I know. I'm not gonna sing it for myself. Call me like, save me, oh, save me. She's like, I don't need you assholes to save me. I drive myself. It was such a beautiful day, every single piece of it. It was wonderful seeing the people in the streets. Everyone had a smile on their face. You know, everyone was happy because, like, Harry's popular. He's popular in Southern Africa. He's popular in the UK. He's got that cool vibe about him. You know, Meghan Markle as well. He inspired people. The only weird thing in the wedding for me was they had a black pastor, right, African pastor, and this was like, it was weird in a good way. He started giving a sermon, and he started talking about Martin Luther King, and then he started talking about slavery. And I could see in that moment, there were people in the audience who were like, God save the Queen, God save the Queen. Somebody stop this man, God save the Queen. I'm having more fun in my life now than I think I've ever had. I'm enjoying America more now than I've ever enjoyed it. Every day. I don't even know what it is. I think, you know what, I think it's, you enjoy a place differently when it might be ending, you know? It just has like a different feeling to it. It's just like, what does that taste? The final season? Because you never know with America. You really never know. Every day is the best day and possibly the last day. I'm having an amazing time. I truly am. This year was such a blessing because I got to travel around the world doing shows in places I'd never performed before, places I've always wanted to do comedy. I've always wanted to try it out. You know, did shows in Berlin, Germany for the first time ever. That was really amazing. I won't lie, people freaked me out. People freaked me out before I went there. Like similar to Detroit, you know, when people are like, oh, watch out, Detroit, watch out, Detroit. You know, like people were like that with Germany as well. Like when I was going to Berlin, people were like, dude, Germany? Do they laugh? I'm like, what do you mean? They're human beings. Like, I don't know, man. Do they laugh? People got to me. There was a point when I was heading to Germany where I was like, maybe Germans just sit in the audience like, aha, yeah, 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 aha, aha. That was a comedy show. But they don't. They laugh. They're actually great audiences. I had an amazing time in Berlin. It's a city that sneaks up on you because it's so culturally diverse. You know, it has a burgeoning art scene, you know, fantastic music. The history in Berlin is truly deep and rich. You know, I love traveling and seeing places whenever I'm in certain cities. And in Berlin, I went out with like a tour group, and I had a great time, but I wish someone had warned me how painful a lot of like Berlin's history is. Right? Because that was basically the headquarters of the Nazi party. So like everything ties back to Hitler. I didn't know this. I thought we were going on like a cute little tour. I ask a lot of questions. I'm curious. This brought the mood down. And we're out and about. The tour guide was doing his shtick. He was happy as well. He was like, you know, here behind me you can see this is one of the largest airports that was ever built in the world. Yeah, it is a world famous airport here in Berlin, and it is so large that they filmed the Hollywood movie, The Hunger Games, inside this airport. Yeah? Any questions? And I was like, yeah, wow, how old is this thing? He's like, this is almost 100 years old. I'm like, damn, and like, who built it? Yeah, that is the unfortunate part of the story. This airport was built by Hitler. I could see I'd messed things up. I tried to bring the mood up. I was like, which Hitler? He's like, which Hitler? Which other Hitler is there? I was like, could be Henry Hitler. Henry Hitler? Who the hell is Henry Hitler? I was like, you don't know Henry Hitler? It didn't work. Like, yo, man. It was tense, but it was good. And what I mean by good is it was nice to be in a place where people don't bury their history. You know? And what I mean by that, what I mean by that is that, like, when you travel through Germany, even if you don't go to museums, you cannot escape the past of both Berlin and what Germany did. You know, there are monuments scattered throughout the city, prominent monuments. They're memorializing what Germany did to millions of Jewish people and millions of other people around the world. You see it, you understand it, they talk about it. You know, they teach their kids about it. They teach children in school. They're like, hey, this is what Germany did. They make sure they know. But they don't make them feel guilty about it, which is a pretty amazing balance for them to strike, you know? They'll say to the kids, they're like, hey, kids, I hope you understand. Germany did this. You're not responsible because you weren't there. However, because you're the future of Germany, it's your responsibility to make sure this doesn't happen again. You know what I loved about being in Germany when they were talking about their history is how forthright they are about it. You know, they know it's painful. They know that it's a terrible blight on who they are, but they don't hide from it. Like when I saw them doing this, I was like, man, I wish America did this with history. You know? Because you ever see how awkward it is speaking about history in America? It gets tense. Doesn't matter what history it is, it gets tense. You know, Columbus Day is one of those days. Every year in New York, there's a fight. Every year. Here in Detroit, there was a fight. There was a bust of Christopher Columbus that was around for 110 years. At some point, half of Detroit was like, we need to get rid of it. The other half was like, no, don't get rid of it. It was a huge fight. New York, same thing, every year. Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. Yeah, there was an interview on the news I saw once. It wasn't supposed to be funny, but I found it funny. The reporter went up to some guy and was like, "Sir, what are you going to be doing for Indigenous Peoples Day?" And he was like, "Let me tell you something, it's Columbus Day. I'm sick and tired of people coming in and changing the name. We're proud of that day. It's Christopher Columbus. It's Columbus Day. It's not going to change. In fact, how would you feel if somebody came along, took something that's been around for a long time, and just decided to switch it and call it something else, huh? How would you feel?" I was like, "But sir, isn't that the spirit of Columbus Day?" I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of Indigenous Peoples Day, the title. I don't like it. I think it's a cop-out. I don't think it's specific enough. It's lazy. You know, Indigenous Peoples Day. Which Indigenous people? Where? How? Give me something, you know? You know what I liked about Columbus Day? Is that it was specific. Yeah. It was a specific, inspiring story of a man by the name Christopher Columbus, who believed against all odds that he could sail the wrong way around the world and get to India from the other side. Nobody believed in him. Yeah. He was like, "I'm gonna do this." They were like, "You can't do it, Chris." And he was like, "I'm gonna do it." They're like, "You can't do it, Chris." He's like, "I'm gonna do it." They're like, "You can't do it, Chris." And he raised money, he fought for years, he finally got the ships, and he sailed the wrong way around the world, and he didn't do it. Not only did he not land on the other side of India, he found himself in a place called the Caribbean, and he was like, "This is India." And the people there were like, "I don't know if you've been eating some of the herb we've been leaving about, but this is totally not India." And they're like, "This is India, and you guys are Indians." They're like, "Brother, we are not Indians." He's like, "I know Indians when I don't see them. You're Indians. You're just on the far side, so you're West Indians." And he stuck with it. Christopher Columbus stuck with it his entire life. Other explorers would come to him, they'd be like, "Yo, Chris, I don't think you made it to India." He's like, "It's India." They're like, "I don't think it's India." He's like, "It's India." He died refusing to acknowledge the possibility that he never made it to India. Not only that, my friends, he never set foot in America. Ever. Ever. And yet, he had a public holiday named after him in America. That, my friends, is the inspiring story of how white men can fail up. You know how much confidence you have to pull that off? Nobody else. That is white man confidence. Nobody else possesses that level of confidence. Go the wrong way, end up in the wrong place, call the wrong people the wrong name, and be like, "I'm right, give me a holiday." No one else can do that. That is the level of confidence we should all aspire to. Is white man levels of confidence. Women couldn't pull that off. You think any woman should be like, "I'm gonna sail the wrong way around the earth"? They'd be like, "Burn her, she's a witch." You think people of color could have pulled that off? You think black people could pull that off? Wow, really? Black people just gonna sail around the world, wrong way around, get to the place they're not supposed to be, probably get arrested for trespassing. Be like, "What are you doing here?" Be like, "Man, my bad, man. I thought I was getting to India, man. My bad, man. I apologize. Man, I don't even know what I was thinking, man. You know what, man? We should have never messed with ships. It never turns out good, man. I apologize, man. This won't happen again." Why would you want to bury your history? There's so much joy, there's so much to learn. You know? It feels like America's moving in that direction. You know, it wants less and less of its history, wants less and less context. You look what's happening with textbooks. Places like Florida, they want to ban textbooks or cut out the parts of the textbooks that have slavery in the books. And now parents are fighting. They're like, "Oh, no, take the slavery out, it's making the kids feel bad." And other parents are like, "Keep the slavery in, it's teaching the children." And these parents are fighting back and forth. I'm like, why? What, you don't need to be fighting about. No one should be fighting about this. Kids don't read textbooks. They watch TikTok. If you want to get to the kids, that's where you gotta be. There was slavery. Ships came. Yeah, they. I'll be honest, I don't think that textbook thing is like a real issue. I feel like it's one of those manufactured issues that often happens in America that gets people riled up and gets them fired up, fighting about something that was never an issue to begin with, you know? And the reason I say this is because that's honestly what I believe. I feel like in America, politicians have done a really good job of tricking Americans into fighting about issues that were never an issue to begin with, so that you don't pay attention to the issues that actually are. You know? If they can get you fighting about what's in a textbook, you don't pay attention to the fact that inflation is out of control. You don't pay attention to the fact that rents are out of control. People cannot afford to live anywhere. Your salaries have never kept up with inflation. Corporations steal billions and billions of dollars from their employees with no ramifications. You don't pay attention to any of that. You pay attention to what's catchy. It's easy to keep up with. It keeps you going, you know? Ooh, can trans people use public bathrooms? Ooh. It's manufactured. Who was actually dealing with this issue? And I mean this, honestly, who was actually dealing with this issue? You know what they did? Some politician out there figured out, they go, here's a small story affecting a few people in a random place. I'm gonna make it seem like this is a nationwide issue, and then everyone starts fighting about it. But who? Who was really dealing with it? Huh? Who of you here has ever been in a situation where you were in a bathroom and all of a sudden a skirmish broke out and you heard people being like, excuse me, is this the gender that you were born with? Does it coincide with the sign on the door? Is your genitalia matching this? Can I see it right now? Who's ever seen that? Nobody. Nobody. But they make us fight about it because it's catchy. Who can use which bathroom? Who cares? Who cares? I mean it. Who cares? I know someone will be like, oh, but trans people care. They want to know if they can use a public bathroom. Yeah, use whichever bathroom you want. Who's going to stop you? No, seriously, it's a public toilet. Who is going to stop you? You tell me who's going to enforce that law. We can't even enforce the idea that people should shit into the toilet. But you think magically they're gonna figure out if you were born this way? Use whichever one you want. Why are we wasting our time? Other people are like, oh, we're gonna fight because you gotta know who's using. Let me tell you something. If you are spending enough time to know the genitalia of the other people in a public bathroom, you're the creep. I'm worried about you. There is a simple rule to every public toilet around the world, and that rule is you get in, you pay no attention to anyone else, you hold your breath, and you get out. You're standing around staring at other people. Like every man in this room knows, when we use the toilet, what do? We get in. Public toilet, you stare dead ahead. You pee, you do your thing. You do not look to either side. If you're fidgety, you look up, you look down. You do not look at anyone else. The guy next to you could start choking. You don't turn your head, you don't shake, you don't move. You hear him like, you be like, hey man, hey, you all right? Yo, hey man, you okay? Yo, you want me to call? Hey man, are you okay? Yo, you want me to call? Don't look at me! What are we doing? What are we fighting about? Public bathrooms. And if you know your history, you'll know this happens all the time in America. It happens over and over and over again. There was a time when women had to fight to use public bathrooms in America. Imagine that. There was literally a time when women weren't allowed to use public bathrooms all across America, and they had to fight. And there were men who were angry. They're like, this is crazy. You're gonna have women in public bathrooms? That's insane. Like, how does it work? Huh? What, they're gonna come in there while we're peeing? And then what, they're gonna look at our wieners? Huh? And they're gonna laugh? Huh? Think about this, ladies. There was a time when women were first allowed to step into the workplace where there were no public bathrooms that they could use. So ladies, if you were out and about back then, you needed to pee, you needed to poo, you had to go home. Yeah, and I say poo theoretically, I don't know if you actually do. No, I don't think any guy does, let's be honest. We don't. Like, we assume this on a biological level, but I don't know for certain that any woman actually, in fact, any man in here, I don't, like, think of any woman in your life. Do you know the last time she pooed? I don't think you know. I don't think you know. There is no forensic evidence to back up that claim. There is no smell, there is no stain, there is no nothing. And ladies, I don't know who's doing your bathroom PR, but they're doing a stellar job. Stellar job. Women go to the bathroom, smells better when they come out of it. How? You never know when a lady's pooing, never. Because also, women keep the same amount of time. That's the most impressive thing. You give nothing away. Yeah, a woman's gonna go pee, it takes 10 minutes. She goes to the bathroom, right? Gets there, tinkle, 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 comes out, washes her hands, powders her face, texts on the phone a bit, comes back to the table. You have no clue. Yeah, if she's gonna go poo, same thing, 10 minutes. Goes to the bathroom, does a thing, pellets, 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 comes back out, wash her hands, powder the nose, text her friends, get back out there. You have no clue. With men, you know exactly what we're doing. Discretion is not our forte. You know when every single man is gonna go pee. Why? 2 minutes. Off to the bathroom, we're in there. Quickest thing ever. It's like a NASCAR pit stop. Yeah, we get in, we pee, we come back out, act like we're washing our hands, and we're back. How do you know when we're gonna take a dump? Because it's obvious. We go to the bathroom, never come back. That's the last time you'll ever see us. Your family's putting up wanted posters in the restaurants. Have you seen this man? Imagine, people were fighting about bathrooms. This every time in America, every time. There was a time when black people had to fight to use public bathrooms. Huh? Same thing. Black people were like, why can we not use public bathrooms? And again, people were angry. This is crazy. You're gonna have black people in the public bathroom? How does that even work, huh? So what, they're gonna be standing there while I'm peeing, huh? And they're gonna be looking at my wiener, huh? And they're gonna laugh, huh? Yo, I'm old enough to remember when there was a discussion in America about whether gay people could use public bathrooms. This was an actual topic of discussion. I remember seeing people on the news being interviewed. They'd be like, do you think that gay men should be allowed into the same bathrooms as straight men? I'd be like, look, I don't mind what they do. If they keep it to themselves, that's fine. But like, just answer me this. How's it gonna work, huh? So what, you're in the bathroom with them and then what? Like he's gay and I'm just standing there and I'm peeing, huh? And he's looking at my wiener, huh? And then he grabs it, huh? And he starts yanking on it, huh? He just starts tugging away and I get hard and I'm enjoying it, huh? And then this is one of the best experiences I've ever had, huh? And then I start coming back weekly, hoping I'll bump into him, and I do, huh? And then at some point we agree to meet outside a nice little restaurant that's cozy and get to know each other, huh? And then a few years later we get married and our families are joined and we live happily ever after, huh? Is that what you want? Why? Public bathrooms. That's why you shouldn't bury your history. Yeah, because if you know it's happened, you know what to predict. You understand why it happened in the first place. Germany does that in a truly astounding way. Look, it's not perfect. It'll never be perfect. But Germany is one of the only countries in the world that has actively paid reparations for what they did. One of the only countries in the world that has actively apologized. And one of the only countries in the world that's set about changing how they see themselves and how the world sees them. After World War II, Germany changed a bunch of laws. They changed the iconography of the country, what you could hang, where you could hang it. They changed their national anthem. Yeah. Imagine that, they changed the national anthem. They felt that the national anthem was a nationalist song that the Nazis used to inspire people to think the wrong things, and they changed it. The original song was a song called Deutschland, Deutschland über alles. And you've probably heard it like in old movies or whatever. The song went like, Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles auf der Welt. And translated into English, it means, Germany, Germany, over everything in the world. And clearly they meant it. Yeah, where most anthems are theoretical, Germans are precise. But after World War II, they were like, we can't have that same attitude. And so they changed the anthem. And new lyrics. The new lyrics are, Einigkeit und Recht und Freiheit für das deutsche Vaterland. Which translated into English is, unity and rights and freedom for all the people who live in Germany. Which is adorable. It's adorable. I mean, they may as well have made the song, sorry, sorry, we're so, so sorry. Sorry, sorry, sorry for what we did. I appreciate that they did it, but I wouldn't have gone that far. No, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't have gone that far. I think Über alles is terrible. That's not a good way to think. But you still gotta have a bit of kick in your anthem, you know? You still gotta have like a, you know? Yeah, I would have found like a middle ground. Mine would have been like, Deutschland, Deutschland, irgendwo in den Top 5. Nicht über alles auf der Welt. Because we are definitely in the top 5 when you think about it. America's number 1, and then you have Great Britain, and then you have France and Spain, and then we are at number 5. Well, actually, Spain is not better than us, so we are number 4. Number 4 in the, oh yeah, but France, their economy is not that strong, so maybe we are number 3 in the world, then you have England above, oh wait, oh, Brexit was not a smart idea, so maybe we are number 2 and America is number, oh, their elections are not that stable, so then maybe we are über alles auf der Welt! I think we treated Joe Biden like shit. Like, people just treated Joe Biden like absolute trash, and for what? Nothing. Not, the man just got old. That's literally all he's guilty of. He got old. And people, they were like, oh my God, have you seen Joe Biden these days? He's so old. You're like, yeah. That's what happens. You get older as a person. I can't believe how old he is. I'm like, yo, when you voted for him, it's not like he was 20. People make it seem like he pulled like a magic trick and then all of a sudden flipped into an old man. He came in as an old man, and then now he was a slightly older man, and people are like, oh my God, I can't believe him. Why does he think he can be president? Because you told him he could. People were so shitty to Joe Biden. Then they were just like pulling at strings. I mean, like, God, you see the other day he forgot. He like forgot where he was. He said the wrong city. He said Rotterdam. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, people do that all the time, especially when you're older. Yeah, because think of it this way. It's not even about like old as in your brain is like, you know, is degrading. Think about how much information you have consumed by that point in your life. Think about how many names you've heard, how many places you've been, how many stories. Of course some things are gonna get jumbled up. You know, it's like, yeah, the person's old. He's just old. That's all Joe Biden is. He's old. You'd be like, yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. It's not that. My grandmother, my grandfather, they would forget or switch my name with my siblings' names all the time. I'm sure you had that. Right? They're just like, my grandmother, sometimes she'd be like, Andrew. And I'll be like, no, Trevor. And she'd be like, Yeah, when she did that, there was no point where I was like, she needs to step down. She's not fit to be my grandmother anymore. We treat old people like such shit in society. It's like we make it like they're disposable. You know, it's like, you're old. All right, get out of the way. You're old now. It's over. He just got old. Yeah, and yes, the things that he did, obviously, they don't make you comfortable. Don't get me wrong. Like, they'll throw you off. So, for instance, one of the big ones was he was at the G20, right? And he was introducing President Zelensky of Ukraine And then he said,
It gives me a lot of pleasure to introduce to you right now the president of one of the most powerful presidents. I'm honored to introduce Vladimir Putin. Oh, no, I mean, and people are like, no, Joe, he's not fit to run this country.
I was like, yeah, he made a mistake. Think about how many times he says Putin, how many times he says, it's not like he said like a random, it's not like he was like, Idi Amin. No. He said, I get it, Putin, you know what I mean? Yeah, that can happen to you. It's a brain fart. You know? And then people said the dumbest thing. Someone said to me, they were like, well, you know, Trevor, what if it gets into a situation where he does something really bad? Like he could make a mistake like that and he could bomb the wrong country. I was like, do you know how countries work? What do you mean he could bomb the wrong country? What, you think just Joe Biden's there with the keys to the jet? And he's just like, I gotta pop out and do something real quick. I gotta fly to Eastern Europe. And he's like, take that, Ukraine. No! I meant Russia! You know how much bureaucracy exists between Joe Biden and a country being bombed? Like, if he said, we gotta bomb Ukraine, they'd be like, you mean Russia? They'd be like, oh yeah, I mean Russia, of course. It's not like it just happens. It's not a thing. We treated him like such trash. He's like an old man, you know, trying to fight for his country. That's all he was doing. And here's the thing, forget the politics. It was just like the old thing that was like, I was like, why are we doing this, man? The guy's just old. He's not as sharp as he used to be. That's life. It's going to happen to all of us, hopefully. You know, if you get there, it'll happen to you. I'm like, Joe Biden, trash. And look, I will be fair and I will be honest. I think what didn't help was that his team didn't acknowledge that he was getting older. I don't think that helps. And that is a problem I have with like a lot of American political spin. They try and tell you that what you're seeing is not what you're seeing. You know? So like Joe Biden would like, he'd be like, and then people would be like, yo, he's getting older. And his team would be like, Joe Biden is not getting older at all. In fact, he's younger than he's ever been. We're like, that's not how numbers work. The man is just getting older and older and older. Just say, yes, he's old. Just say he's old. Because yeah, he was making some mistakes. One of the ones that, you know, one of the big ones that threw people off was he would repeatedly bring up world leaders that he had recently had a conversation with, which is fine. The only issue was that those world leaders had long been dead. And that would throw people off, you know? He'd be up there and he'd be like,
I just had a conversation the other day with Chancellor Olaf, and people were like, Chancellor Olaf died 30 years ago. And they were like, oh no, Joe Biden, oh no.
And everyone's like, he's senile, he's got dementia, oh no. I understand why people thought that. I also should let you know, full disclosure, so we're completely honest in this room. I am biased, okay? I'm biased because I've met Joe Biden. I met him at an event called the White House Correspondents' Dinner, okay? And this event, you're there, the president is there. Because of the security and everything, you have to get there well ahead of time. So you spend time, you get to meet the president, you have a long conversation with him and the first lady, and then later on in the evening, you have another conversation, then after that, you have another conversation, and then after the event, you have another conversation. So in the span of like 5-6 hours, I got to speak to Joe Biden frequently. And I have nothing to gain from telling you this. The man's not running for president or anything. He's done. He was fully corpus mentis. He was with it. You know, slight speech impediment, yes, but otherwise he was with it. You know, he could recall information. He kept up with the conversation. He was with me. He was lucid. It was fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, he would talk to me. He's like, hey, Trevor, you know, another thing in the country, and the things I dream for as Americans, and you do that thing, and it was fine. It's not like he talked to me, and then like 3 hours later came back, and he was like, Jackie Robinson! That didn't happen. You know? So I don't know, I'll be honest, I have a different theory. I think, I don't think Joe Biden has dementia. I don't think he's senile. I just think Joe Biden is old. But I think he's so old that he can communicate with the other side. We don't consider that. But he's basically in that space between. That should have been their campaign, actually. Yeah, instead of saying he's not old, they should have doubled down. They should be like, you're damn right Joe Biden's old. He's the oldest president this country's ever had, and you should be grateful. Who better to protect the Constitution than someone who was there when they were writing it? But now he's out. Now he's out. And I'll be honest, I'm happy for him. I'm happy that Joe Biden gets to go out like this. I think, again, as an old person, you should have a dignified end. You know, I think we've robbed old people of that in society. You know, capitalism and whatever. It's like, no, it's nice to, like, you go, you've lived your life, you've done your thing, relax now, you know? And Joe Biden feels more relaxed. I don't know if you've seen him recently. He just has, like, a different swag to him now. He just, you know? Yeah, it just feels like someone, like, loosened up the joints, you know? Because, like, before, when you saw Joe Biden, he was a little precarious, you know? When you see him, like, walk, he didn't, like, inspire confidence. Like, he like, stumbly, and he always looked like a late-stage Jenga tower. Like, you know? Which is probably why the Secret Service wasn't so good at protecting Trump or him. Like, it's just, like, in their defense, they've been protecting geriatrics for the past decade. Of course, they're not in practice. You know, like, when they're protecting young presidents, they're like, all right, everybody, look out for the shooter. Look out, because the danger's up. That's where you gotta look. You gotta look up there. You gotta look. When you're protecting old people, you're just like, all right, look at the ground. Where's the stairs? Where's the stairs? Where's the stairs? Look out, Mr. President. There's a dog that's shat here. Hold on, hold on. Come on, come on. He's got a different sort. Joe Biden's got he's got a vibe now, man. The other day he was at it was like a little, not a rally, it was just a meeting with like a community somewhere. Some were Biden supporters, some weren't. He's just walking around greeting, hey, how you doing over there? Good, good to see you. How you doing? How you doing? And there's a guy sitting wearing a Trump hat, right? Wearing a Trump hat. And Joe Biden comes like, hey, how you doing? How you doing, man? And he's like, I don't like you. And Joe Biden's like, oh yeah, I don't like you either. And I was like, oh, who's this guy? Who's this guy? He's like, oh yeah, I don't like you either. I don't like you. He's like, you're old. He's like, oh, you want to talk? Look at you, you're old. And he just started like trading with this guy. Back, wasn't presidential. He wasn't like, oh, well, I see why you feel. He's like, nah, man, you old as shit. Look at your face. Like, goddamn. He's like, you old. You're just old. I'm old and I'm president, bitch. He just had like a different like vibe to him. You're like, what? What? And the guy was wearing a Trump hat, and then he said something to Biden, or something along those lines. He's like, yeah, that hat. And Joe Biden's like, come on, wear my hat. And he's like, no. He's like, would you wear this one? And Joe Biden's like, yeah, I'll wear your hat. Give me the hat. And he takes the hat, and he puts the Trump hat on. And he's like, yeah. And that guy, you should have seen that guy's face. He was like, wah. Because he thought maybe like Biden would like burn or something. I don't know. Just turned to, he was like, wah. He's like, I like you a lot more now. And then Joe Biden just walked away. He just had like his swag. He's like, all right, man, I see you, man. I'm happy for him. That's how everyone deserves to leave, you know? It's nice. And now it means he's out of it, but we're in it. You know, now the world, everyone in the world, because America's elections are the world's elections. You know, now see what happens. Now it's Kamala Harris instead. Yeah, that's going. Oh, is it a woo? Is it a woo for you? Okay. Wait. But what does it mean? What is it? Woo like I'm excited, or woo it's gonna happen? It's happening. It's happening. Damn, look at you. All right. Where do you live? Phoenix. Oh, damn. Okay, that's Arizona's important. No, Arizona's important. Because if you said like New York, I'd be like, rah. But if you say you're feeling it and it's in Phoenix, okay. Because Kamala Harris is not going to be easy. I hope everyone understands that. You know, America has not shown itself to have a propensity to voting for new things. It really has not. And this is very new. Very, very new. You know, because Kamala Harris is a woman. Yes. And she's black. And Indian. Yeah. Now you realize Obama was level 1. America was so proud of itself. Thought it had clocked the game. That was the easiest level in the game. It was like Mario Brothers level 1. It was like, let's do this thing. Blip, 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 whoop, Hawaii, blip, 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 whoop, Hussein, blip, 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 whoop, Kenya, blip, 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 crook, 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 yes we can, blip, 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 I was like, yeah, we did it, we did it, we did it, yeah, yeah, woo! And then Kamala Harris stepped up and then was like, blip, 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 blip. Blip, 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 blip. Blip, 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 blip. Oh, man. Oh, man. You guys have been so much fun, man. Thanks for coming out tonight. I had a great time with all of you. Good night, y'all.
One more time, man. Show some love, man. Trevor Noah.